Well, hi everyone. We'll go ahead and get started. My name is Lyda Fontes McCartan. I'm the director of the School of Information Science here at the University of South Carolina, and we're very happy that you're here with us to learn a little bit more about our Information Security and Cyber Leadership program. We're going to talk about the certificate, and we're also going to talk about the master's degree. I have some other folks from the program joining me today. Jeff Salter is here. He's going to talk about some of our courses. Trey Sandoval is going to talk about kind of the admissions process and recruiting, and then Ellen DeMonico is the person who would be your student or your student advisor, and so she'll be talking about support that you'll be provided through the program. The overview is going to be fairly short, and we've just got plenty of time for questions. So let's jump in and talk about the program. So first, kind of why cyber, why now? So we know that there's going to be a lot of cyber positions open. There are more cybersecurity positions, and there are people who are available to fill those jobs. And by 2024, there'll be 3 million cybersecurity jobs unfilled. The other reason that a cybersecurity degree is worth pursuing at this time is because there is potential for high earning in this field. But more importantly, is that second bullet point, which is that we do not have people skilled enough to be joining the field. And so there are jobs that are just being left undone, which means that companies and the country are left without security in the world of cyber. In terms of the iSchool and the reason why you want to come here, we are ranked number 17 in the nation in the field of library and information science. We've got award-winning faculty. We provide you opportunities for internships and independent studies in the field of cybersecurity. And then most importantly for us, we have a great partnership with Checkpoint Software Technologies. They're really, and Jeff will talk more about this partnership, but we provided access to their secure academy, and we have access to them and all of their resources. And so Jeff will talk about that in a little bit later in the session. So I first want to talk about the certificate in information security and cyber leadership. So the certificate is kind of the short form of how you would go through our program. It's a 12-hour fully online certificate. So what that means is that you take 4 courses and you earn your certificate in cybersecurity. We have 2 required courses, information networks, and then our seminar in applied information systems. This is one of our Checkpoint courses. And then there are 2 courses that you pick on your own, 2 electives, and that might be based on your career interests and the goals that you have for your career. So for example, we actually have 2 Checkpoint courses, level 1 and level 2. So one of your electives might be the level 2 course, but we have a lot of elective options, and so you might want to explore something else. That's the kind of certificate in a nutshell. The other thing I'll say is that if you do start pursuing the certificate and you realize you would prefer to pursue the full degree, you can transfer those 12 credits into the master's degree. So you don't have to start from scratch. And so the master's degree is 30 credits. You have 4 core courses or 4 required courses and then 6 electives. So you will go through level 1 and 2 of Checkpoint certification. You'll go through a leadership course. And then you will have an internship as your other required course. And the internship can look very different given that folks will be working you might be working full time. And so we will have conversations with you about what that what that internship or independent study might look like. And then you have 6 elective courses that you get to choose from to round out the rest of your program. And so again, depending on the skill set you already bring in, the skills that you want to gain, we have a lot of options for you to build the rest of your program. So I want to talk a little bit about how this degree differs from other cyber degrees that are out there. There are certainly a lot of them. And so what we wanted to talk about today is kind of this disconnect between hard technical skills and soft skills. And I think this quote from the 2022 Kennedy report really hits home, which is that the highly technical roles in cybersecurity make up less than 1/3 of a healthy cybersecurity organization. And what that means is, the people who are kind of, clicking the keyboards, there's only a really small part of your cybersecurity force in your company or your organization. So our program kind of bridges this gap between people and technology, and we provide you both the hard and the soft skills that you're going to need to be competitive in the cybersecurity workforce. So we have a lot of industry partners, and we talk to them a lot about what's missing in the people they hire, the people are interviewing for their positions. And over again, it's this soft skills, it's this ability to connect what's going on the ground to the people in the boardroom to really understand the full scope of what's going on in cybersecurity. And so you leave this program with that ability to kind of bridge that gap. Additionally, our program is 100% online. Our courses are asynchronous, so you can kind of pace, kind of build that course and build your schedule the way that you need to. Most of our students are working full-time while they're going through all of our degree programs. So next we'll talk about the courses that you'll take in the spring semester. We recommend starting, if you're going to start in the spring, we recommend starting with 2 courses just to kind of get a sense of what that schedule might look like, especially if you're working full-time. So the first course you'll take is our ISI 787. That's our seminar in applied information systems. And this is our first Checkpoint Secure Academy course. And then the elective you'll take is data visualization. So 787 will be taught in the spring by Dr. Alamir Novin, and data visualization will be taught by our faculty member, Asan Mohammadi. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Jeff to talk a little bit more about what's involved in both the seminar, which is our first level of Checkpoint certification, and then the second course that you would take in the fall semester, fall of 2024, if you were joining the program in spring.
Okay, well, what I want to start with these about our relationship with Checkpoint. And Checkpoint is they're really 3 major players in the cybersecurity market: Checkpoint, Palo Alto, and Fortinet. And in 1993, Gil Shwed, who is still running the program at Checkpoint, created the first firewall. So Checkpoint and Gil, they have the patent on the firewall. Palo, and he started it with two of his friends. One of the friends left, and they're based in Tel Aviv, Israel, and they left and came over here to the States, and they started Palo Alto. If you look at the 2, they're almost identical, just because of where one got his training from. But Checkpoint saw this, discrepancy here in the workforce, and they wanted to do whatever they could to help, narrow that. And so they have their training program. They created this program called Secure Academy. And what they came and said, hey, if we give you this content, can you use it, create a class for it, and offer it, via higher education? That way, more people can get exposed to it, and we can, as a group, we can help, put a, somewhat of a dent in this gap of available people who would want to work in the cyber industry. And so, we did that, and their training program, had to, adapt it for higher education, and we've done that with the first course. And our relationship with Checkpoint is, deeper than I ever thought we would go with it. But when we started, they said, and also when you finish, you can take their certification, and if you pass, and you become CCSA certified. And they said, okay, and we'll give you a voucher for the students to take the test. And they gave those after the semester was over. And they said, well, how many passed? I couldn't give them the number, because once the semester is over, I had no way of tracking it. And so, I suggested to them that, why don't we offer that as, the final exam? And we went back and forth, and finally they said, okay, yeah, let's do that. And so now they're offering that to all Secure Academy partners, around the world. And so that just shows our relationship with them. They actually listen to some of the, ideas that we have and implement them. And the first one is their entry level cybersecurity. and like I said, you would get the CCSA certification. Then our second level one, is, the first one, but much more advanced. And at the completion of that, you become CCSE certified. And those two certificates right there from Checkpoint will put you so much further ahead than someone without them when it comes time to interview and apply for some of these positions. And we're, like I said, we're still working with Secure Academy. They have these two courses. They've got some others in their chest that I would like to get added to the program, so we could have more electives. But like I said, we're still working on that. But these two courses are it's what they use to train their engineers, and they're really designed for people who have been in the workforce for 3 to 5 years. So the certification is pretty rigorous, but we've had plenty of students pass it. I've had some pass it really in record time with astounding scores. And so it's, even though it's designed for people in the workforce, it's been done, it's been proven by several students that you can pass it and get certified through Checkpoint. So I'll be more than happy to answer questions in detail towards the end, but that's how Secure Academy and Checkpoint and USC sort of got together.
Thanks, Jeff. I'll talk a little bit about the ISci 560 data visualization class. And so in that course, which I think is a very important elective for you to take, you really get instruction in how to take data and visualize that, which is sort of obvious with the title of the course, but really to be able to tell a story with the data. And so, this program is cyber leadership. And so, the issue is, how do you use data to make a case for something in an organization? How do you use data to tell a story about what's happening in an organization? So while some people see it a little disconnected to cybersecurity, once you get in the class and you kind of recognize where you might be going in your career, it's a very important class to understand how it is that you tell a story to someone to get something done or to get resources in your organization. So that's going to be a really important class in terms of the leadership component of the degree. So we're going to move out of the curriculum and go into some support services that will be provided for you as a student in the program.
Hey guys, I'm Ellen DeMonico. I am the Graduate Student Services Manager here in the iSchool. And so I will be, as Dr. McCartan said, I will be your advisor throughout the program. And then I'll also just be kind of whoever you need to go to should any questions come up, anything, whatever goes on. So a couple of things I wanted to highlight. As it says up there, you will have an advisor, me, guiding you throughout your program of study. So we'll take a look from the very beginning. Once you're admitted, we'll look at your first semester, and then each semester, I would like you to have a scheduled advising appointment with me. Obviously, I understand sometimes we've all got full-time jobs and lots of things are going on. So if we have to do that via email, I can be flexible, but I like to do it via Teams to kind of get to put a face to a name. And then we can talk about really your plan. When are you planning on graduating? How many classes are you taking each semester? What classes? We can kind of plan out when you're going to take each class, so you're meeting those guidelines, or meeting your markers, your certifications, all that kind of stuff. I'm also who you will go to for any forms. There's forms that come with higher education. Maybe to get something signed off by the graduate school, you can send it to me. Anything that kind of weird happens, something happens with the class, you have to get added to it late, come to me. You have to drop something, come to me. So all that kind of stuff. So kind of just your general student services support. And then some other things outside of our office, but I'm happy to share with you. The Thomas Cooper Library is the main library here on campus at the University of South Carolina. And so I think sometimes people think if they're in an online program, they don't have access to a bunch of the resources at the university that maybe a in-person student might have, but I don't think that's the case here. So the Thomas Cooper Library has a ton of online databases. You can access, I think it's something over like 400 some other journals and anything you might need for classes. They have their Ask a Librarian program. So, if you're doing a project and you're not quite sure where to go and you need to find a resource, even though you're not physically on campus in the library, they have a chat function that you can use, and you can chat right with a librarian who is there, and they can help point you in the right direction. So that's pretty cool. In terms of professional development, there are webinars that are always being sent out through either the graduate school and then also our Center for Teaching Excellence, the CTE. And so we'll send those out, or the graduate school will send those out through listservs. You're going to get probably a ton of emails, both from myself and then from listservs of different things that you're invited to, obviously virtually with webinars. They had one, I think it was it was a webinar specific for online graduate students, and kind of navigating that. It's a lot different than being an in-person graduate student. So they had just a webinar about that. And I think it was like an hour. You can come join and kind of hear some best tips, some best practices from other people. And then also the Writing Center, if you have any, papers you have to write or anything like that, again, they will offer online sessions. So you can either schedule a session online where you're like Zoom or Teams or something like that, where you're chatting about a paper that you're writing, or you can kind of send something to them. They won't do full on edits, but they will look at you. They'll help you with citations. They'll help you with kind of mapping out your paper if you're going to write something, kind of the more planning stage of it, which I think can be really, really crucial. And then outside of those, that's definitely not all the student resources that we have. There's just some of the ones that we thought might be of the most interest, but there's lots of different things on campus. There's a graduate student association that you can get involved with, and they have some online things as well. So like I said, just reach out to the Graduate Student Services Office, myself, Ellen DeMonico, and I'll be happy to point you in the right direction.
All right, hi guys. My name is Trey Sandoval. I'm a recruitment admin coordinator for the CIC. I would basically be your best point of contact while you're going through the admissions process, the application process, myself and Jasmine Blackwell as well. I've dropped my email in the chat in case you guys want to have any questions after this. So what I'm going to go over is kind of what the application process and kind of what's required for you in order to be considered for admission. So first, you would need to complete a graduate school application that will be provided in the link that I put in the chat, where it's on our program page on the right side. You'll see the Apply Now link. So that's where you can go start your application. In the application, you will be required to submit a professional resume, 2 letters of recommendation that evaluate your academic or professional performance, a statement of purpose that explains why you're applying, and maybe any additional information that you think might be pertinent to you for admissions purposes, and also transcripts from all the colleges you've attended. And this also includes transcripts from colleges that you may have received transfer work. If it's been a long time since you gotten your undergraduate degree, and you don't remember if you had any transfer work, I would say the best thing to do is, like, if you have an unofficial transcript on hand, you can look at that and see what transfer credits were accepted by your home institution. And so we would also require those transfer credits from those institutions in addition to your home institution transcript. On the application, you do have the ability to upload your unofficial transcripts that you have on hand, and we can review those for admissions purposes. And also, if you are an international student, we do require English language proficiency scores. Typically, these are TOEFL or IELTS or Duolingo scores. Duolingo we're accepting right for the time being. I'm not sure how long that will last, but we are accepting those right now. I have also dropped a link in the chat regarding so for instance, as you can see, spring deadline is approaching on December 1st. If you haven't submitted your application because you're, maybe waiting on your letters of recommendation, you don't really have to worry about that. You can still submit your application, because when you're in the application, you'll come to the recommender portion, and all you'll need to do is just put your name, the name and email address of your recommenders. And what the application will do is it will send out an email notification to your recommender with a link to access your applicant portal. And that way they can use on their time, use that link to submit their application. And also, if they had a document they wanted to upload, they could do that as well. So, go ahead, if you're interested in the program, just go ahead and submit the application so that we can just have it on file, and you can have a student ID created so that if any other documents are coming into the school or to the graduate school, there will be an application on file for us to associate any kind of documents that we have coming in for you. And also the fall deadline is on July 31st. So here is our tuition and fees. As you can see, if you're a South Carolina resident, you will be paying that resident tuition. This is broken down by credit hour, and typically our classes are 3 credit hour classes. Since if you are out-of-state student and this is an online program, you would pay the cohort rate. There also is a reduced rate for South Carolina certified teachers, and then also these additional fees. And I believe these additional fees are only one-time fees. And if you have any questions regarding paying tuition or the exchange of monies between yourself and the university, best point of contact would be the university's bursars office. I believe they would know, actually. So if you are a USC faculty or staff member, you do have the ability to, get a free tuition. And if you wanted to discuss that, the best point of contact for that would be the Human Resources Office, is what I've learned. And yeah, so this is Jasmine Blackwell. She is our recruitment manager. She would be another point of contact for you if you have any questions regarding sending transcripts or anything with the application process. Again, myself, I can also help you out with anything that you have questions with. And then just to reiterate, I do have a lot of links that are set up in the chat. An important link to note is there's an update us manage application link. That is the link that you can use. So once you've applied and have already sent in your application, if you have a recommender that's kind of, maybe taking a little bit too long to send your recommendation, or maybe they forgot, you can go in there and you can send another reminder link to them so that they can fill out your recommendation. And in addition, you can also change the recommenders that are on your application just by going, clicking an action button and then just editing the recommenders. Yeah, that's it for me.
So I did want to share with you, we talked about how we talk to a lot of people who are in the industry. And so this November, if you are in Columbia or can get here on the 21st, regardless of whether or not you apply or come to our program, we are hosting Mr. Kenneth Bible, who's the Chief Information Officer at the Department of Homeland Security. And so he's just, one of the folks that we talk to about, what we need to be offering in our program, and bringing folks in to think about our curriculum. But he will be here to share kind of current issues in cybersecurity. And we're also asking him to talk to some students about some internship opportunities as well. So mark that. Again, even if you don't put an application in, this is absolutely open to you and open to the community. So we'll open up for questions at this point. Any questions you might have about the program? And you can type those in the chat. You can also feel free to unmute.
Hi, when it comes to like the internships, I know like with reading over everything, it said that what did it say? It said that like these were paid internships. Like, would it be paid? Would it be up to them to actually keep me as an employer per se? Or is it just strictly internship with the company?
So when you sign up for the internship course, which is 3 credits, you actually do pay tuition on those 3 credits. We don't guarantee you a paid internship, although that is what we try to find you. But so that's really up to the company. And so we've had students in both paid and unpaid internships. In terms of going from your internship into full-time employment, that's really up to the company. We have had 2 recent graduates, correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, at least 2 go from internships directly into positions with that company. We've seen that with a lot of our students. That is more on you and what's going on in the internship, and also then what the company needs are at the time that you graduate.
Okay, cool beans. When it comes to like accommodations, would it be like a human resource kind of question, or is there a special part of the college that I would speak to if I have like accommodations or need accommodations?
Yes, so we actually have a disability resource center that you'll work with, that will work with you on exactly what your accommodation is. We'll write an accommodation letter for you, provide that to the faculty, and ensure that those accommodations are being met. And they also have a lot of other resources that you might need, depending on, what it is that you need to be successful in class. So we absolutely support the accommodation that you need. Once you are accepted to the program, you will want to reach out to them and just have a conversation with them. And then you'll be hooked up with one of their staff who will handle all of the, basically be kind of like a caseworker and work with you.
All right. Okay, cool. Means I have two more questions if
Okay.
that's if I'm to start this in August per se, like let's say I don't say I hit it heavy, but let's say I start in August 2024, like, and I just keep going. When would I exactly be done? Like, would it be like maybe December of 2025 or?
So if you took two courses from fall of 2024, you would be complete in the summer of 2026.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm right about that. Yes, 2026. Sorry. I don't remember what year it was and then redo my math.
Okay, and I saw that so you have the spring seminar and then you have the fall seminar. So if I'm trying to, I guess, like come in August, so basically how would the seminars and like stuff work with me being already taking classes and stuff?
So if you start in August, you'll be part of our fall 2024 cohort. And so with the folks who join the cohort, you'll take the first seminar in the fall, an elective, and then the spring you'll take the second seminar and an elective. The summer you'll take 2 electives, and then you'll take some other required courses in fall. Probably sometime in that spring of 25 you'll do an internship, or that could be moved to the summer. So it kind of all depends on when you come in, the courses being offered at that time, and the electives that you want to take. And so again, you'll just take 2 courses per term, fall, spring, and summer, until that summer of 2026. So you would graduate. You would technically graduate in May, but actually we don't have a May or sorry, August, but we don't have an August graduation. But you would get your diploma in August.
Okay, one more question. Something just popped up. So I'm thinking, since I'm a senior here where I'm at now, I'm thinking about taking, I think 610, I think. I think it's supposed to be a kind of entry level to cybersecurity or whatnot. Would that possibly be something that may transfer over, or is it just what I take here at my school?
I'm gonna pass that over to Trey in terms of transfer credits. I don't want to give you the wrong information.
Hello?
I'm not sure what exact transfer credits are accepted. I'm not sure. Maybe Ellen, I don't know if you might have any idea of what the advisors or what kind of classes they've been accepting from other students.
So I'm trying to think. So you're technically allowed to transfer in a couple classes. I think it's a maximum of 2. So we couldn't guarantee it. It would have to be, once you're admitted, we can maybe look at it. We would definitely need a syllabus and like a course description and some information about it. And we would need to look through it and make sure that it met our standards. And we would need to see kind of what it would match up as. We couldn't, as a general rule, we don't accept like core required classes as transfer, because we want you to take the specific courses, the specific information. We want to make sure we know what you're doing. Possibly something is like an elective. So again, it would depend on the class. It would depend on what it's supposed to come over as. Would depend if it meets up with our curriculum. And then if it is, of course, a graduate level class. So I know you mentioned, I think you said senior, so I don't know if you're an undergrad right now or something. So it would need to be a graduate level class for us to be able to accept it. We couldn't take an undergrad class. So pretty much it depends. Maybe, but we can't make any guarantees.
Danny, those were great questions. Are there any other questions from other folks?
I'll tag on that last question.
Oh yeah, you're. Oh.
For someone like me, spend a minute with my master's degree in business. Those classes have been a while, but got a lot of professional development experience and leadership experience in where I work at Francis Marion University. Is there ever any electives that can be, I guess, credit given for work experience?
I can answer that one. So, no, the university needs something from a credit-bearing institution to earn credit. So if it was something you mentioned, Francis Marion, if there was like a course you took at Francis Marion or something, and it gave you academic credit, that would be the same process. We can look at what it was. But unfortunately, things like professional development or kind of individual certifications or things like that, if it doesn't come from a credit-bearing institution, then we can't accept it as academic credit.
Understood. I'll share my graduate work with you, and we can see if there's anything with the MBA that could transfer over. It could have dated out. So anyways.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. We'll have to look at dates. But yeah,
Probably
absolutely
has.
send your stuff over.
Probably has dated out. A couple other quick questions. These, let's see here. Hang on. The program is the asynchronous aspect of the program. Is there any synchronicity at all, or is it totally asynchronous? I've observed plenty of asynchronous classes. I'm just curious if I want to understand exactly how it is.
So it is fully asynchronous. And what that means for us is that you don't have to meet with someone live. We do have faculty who will like set up one-on-one meetings with you to kind of talk about the class and things like that. So it's not as if you might never have a conversation like this with a faculty member. And then we are, as we work to design some of this curriculum, we might have opportunities where you could attend live if you wanted to, but you wouldn't be required to, right? So if you work the night shift and it's at night, we're not going to require you to be there and your grade won't be impacted. But you could have the opportunity to come live and interact with guest speakers that would be recorded for you to watch later if you needed it to be asynchronous. So we do have some synchronous components to some classes, but again, always the opportunity for the asynchronous.
And one last question. Outside the 4 core classes, the 6 electives, I noticed there was some potential tracks for kind of concentrations, might not be the best word, but other than that, is it left up to the student to choose from the 6, however they want to build it?
Yes. And so this is where I think conversations with Ellen will come in, because, we want to know kind of what your prior knowledge is. So with an MBA, you might want to shift away from maybe another leadership class into, something more technical. And so those 6 courses are for you to determine what you want them to be. We recommend we have some recommendations that we think would be best, like ISci 560, for example. We've got 2 courses in the summer we would recommend over some other ones. But again, it is completely up to you.
Thank you. Thank you for your answers. I appreciate it.
Jeff, I saw you unmuted. Did you want to hop in?
Yeah, I just wanted to, so this sort of ties into the question that he just asked about synchronous and asynchronous. If you could pull up the slide with Mr. Bible's image on there. I wanted to, mention that, and also whenever we first started with the Secure Academy, one of the biggest, it was our first couple of classes, they were face to face, so it was just in the classroom here. But one of the biggest advantages, and I don't want to say advantages, but what really made that class click was that I could, on a Wednesday, I could get a phone call from any of the checkpoint people and say, hey, I'm in Columbia, I have 2 hours free, can I come by class? And I would stop, whatever I had planned and bring them in, because I think that interaction, you just can't, beat that. And so when we're moving online, we're setting up situations like Mr. Bible here. Now, Mr. Bible is the CISO for Homeland Security. He's probably there. As far as cybersecurity at the national level, he's probably around number 2 or number 3. I tried to get another person, General Kral, he was a 3-star Marine general who ran cyber for the Pentagon, and he was the number 1 cyber person for a while. He just retired last semester or last, equivalent to last semester. And I would, if you were here, if you were taking the class and you could, I would encourage you to come and see Mr. Bible in person, because if you do, he's a very soft-spoken gentleman. You know, because of my hearing, I have to strain sometimes to hear him, but he captivates his audience. And I've seen students just hang around for, 20, 30 minutes after a conference just to talk to him. And he will fulfill that. He will stay there as long as it takes to do that. And, General Crawl, who I tried to get here, but his schedule conflicted with this, he promised me he will come back. So we will do another one of these sessions with him at another date. But what I want you to know about both these gentlemen, as probably number one and number two cyber people in the United States, they're both alumni from USC. So, I think, what I think is really fascinating about this whole cyber industry is the fact that neither one of those two gentlemen has a cyber degree. I mean, they were, they're my age. And when we were in school, we did our first computer program using punch cards. So cyber wasn't even an industry at that time. And they've taken their and moved their career to where they were the leaders in that. And so as far as your synchronous, asynchronous, to fill that gap, we're going to, do more sessions like this with Mr. Bible, where if you can attend, I encourage it. If not, it will be recorded and up there and part of the class. So.
And Nicholas, I believe you had a question.
Yes, good evening. Not necessarily looking for you to speak on my particular situation, but just to give a background to answer the question. My background, I have a bachelor in business, but I never was in business. I've got 17 years in law enforcement, currently criminal investigator. And my goal in looking into this program is to increase my knowledge for the ever increasing cyber portion of what we investigate, and also to open up for a post-retirement second career. So somebody not having an IT background, how does this program work well for somebody without an IT background?
I'll take that one. The IT side, the Secure Academy classes, the checkpoint classes, you'll do, we have some virtual labs that you work in, but that's just learning their software and how it works. You don't have to have a whole lot of IT background. That's and whenever we ask different, different people at different levels, that when we're out and about, that is the one item that they really aren't shopping for. And I'll go back to when I referenced General Crawl. He came here and he was speaking at a symposium we had, and he said he doesn't need keyboard. He doesn't need, technical people. He's got thousands of them. He needs people who can think and who can talk and communicate. The biggest problem that everyone is having in the whole cyber industry right now is the communications aspect. The tech people can't communicate to the CISOs or the CEOs. And so therefore, no one knows really if you got hacked, no one knows exactly what's going on or how to handle it. And so that's where we're aiming to, to shore that. So no, an IT background, you don't have to have a computer science background for this by any means.
Okay, thank you. The other question I had was I was glancing through some of the course descriptions, and a lot of them have a reference to libraries. I understand that the program is coming out of that school so my question is just how much this is geared towards libraries, or why is that in some of the course descriptions?
That's a great question. So some of those courses that were in, and those were all in the elective options, have been removed. And so they should not have been there when that was published. And so they're not there anymore. And so But our decision to remove them and the institution's ability to take them down are not in sync. And so there's two things going on. One, courses should not have been listed as electives for this program that were listed by the institution, so we've removed them. The second one is we've gone through a lot of course name changes to remove the word library to focus in on the cybersecurity and information systems generally. So there is no library-esque components of the courses. Now, you might have someone talking about a large database management or information system, and they mention libraries because libraries use large information systems, but there's not a library-specific course, and there won't be something with library in the title.
Okay. And the final question I have is I'm looking at least for now, starting with the graduate certificate program. Been about 13 years since I took any coursework. So a little hesitant, especially with on-call schedules and varying schedules to jump into 2 classes a semester. Will I be able to keep up with this program, taking 1 class a semester and maybe 2 over during intersession?
So actually right now we don't have intersession courses. And actually intersession is shorter. So with so as a former Leo, let me say that taking 2 in an intersession with your schedule, I probably wouldn't recommend. So with 4 courses, you could take 1 course a semester. With 2, so I would probably start with 1 and see how it goes, and then think about then what might the summer bring, as summer, depending on where you are on patrol, may be a little busier than the winter. And so you might kind of think about one in spring and 1 in summer, and then look at what that workload was like, and then finish up in the fall with 2 classes.
Okay. That's all I had. Thank you.
Well, are there any other questions while we're all still here? All right, so Trey has put his email address in the chat, and I'm going to do the same. If you have kind of curriculum questions, feel free to email me. And if you have any questions about registration or applying, reach out to Trey. I will say, if you're going to start either the certificate or the master's degree in the spring, and you have your application submitted by November 15th, then we will send you the link for our spring scholarship form, so that you can fill that out. If you are going to come and start in the fall, a new batch of scholarships for fall semester will be sent out in April. And we thank everyone for coming, and we hope we see your application soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.